Hello everyone and Assalamu alaikum. It's me and AI Valley. So today we have going to talk with Kolmai on the topic water, the origins of our life and language. So let's start it. Hello Maya, how are you?
Hey there.
Hello Maya, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are things going with you?
I'm also doing great. So today my topic is water, the origins of a simple or life and language. So may I ask some questions about this topic?
Water. Now that's an interesting pivot. I'm definitely intrigued. Go for it. What's on your mind?
Okay, great. So my first question is that what comes to your mind when you hear the word water?
Honestly, the first thing that hits me is just how essential it is. It's one of those things that's so ordinary, we almost forget how wild it is that it literally makes life possible. I think of everything from a quiet lake to a crashing ocean. What about you? What's the first image that pops up?
Yes, it means life. Water is a life for human.
It really is. It's the ultimate foundation. Everything starts there. Do you
Yes,
see it as more of a peaceful thing or something powerful?
I think something powerful. It's very powerful thing which we can use for our lives.
It absolutely is. When you think about that power, are you thinking more about how it sustains us or the kind of raw force it has, like a waterfall or storm?
Um, I don't know. I will not answer.
So, what?
Okay. So my next question is that why is water called the source of life?
That's a big question. But the answer is actually pretty fundamental. Basically, every single cell in every living thing needs water to function. It's like the delivery system for the body. It carries nutrients and oxygen to cells and flushes out the waste. Without it, the chemistry that keeps us alive just stops. It's the one thing that almost nothing on earth can do without. Do you think that's so often?
I don't understand it. Ask your question again.
No problem. I was just wondering, since water is everywhere and we use it every day, do you think that's why people sometimes forget how important it actually is?
Yes, sometimes not, many times people forget water is very important in our lives.
That's so true. It's funny how the things we need the most are often the things we notice the least until they're gone. Do you think there are other things like that in life?
I think water is most important part. What is most important thing in our lives? So okay, great. So my next question is that can you imagine a world without water? What would happen?
That's a pretty haunting thought. Honestly, it would be a complete standstill. Without water, everything, the plants, the animals, the forests would just dry up and vanish. It wouldn't just be a desert, it would be a dead planet. We'd basically be looking at a giant dusty rock floating in space. It really puts into perspective how lucky we are to have it, doesn't it?
Yes, isn't it? Okay, great.
Def-
So my next question is that why do humans need water every day?
it comes down to how our bodies are built. Since we're mostly made of water, we're constantly losing it through things like breathing and sweating. We need to refill that tank every day just to keep our blood flowing, our brain thinking clearly, and our organs working. It's basically the fuel that keeps the engine running. Do you have a
Okay.
favorite way to stay hydrated, like a specific drink or just plain water?
Um, I think a specific and powerful thing meant by water. Okay, great. So my next question is that why do humans need water every day?
I think we just touched on that, but I can definitely explain it a bit differently. Think of your body like a giant machine that needs a coolant to keep from overheating. Water does that, but it also acts like a courier, moving vitamins and minerals to exactly where they need to go. If you don't drink it every day, the deliveries stop and the machine starts to break down. Does that
Okay.
make a bit more sense?
Yes, it makes
Glad it
sense.
clicked.
Great. So my next question is that how do plants depend on the water?
Plants are basically the ultimate water powered machines. They use water to pull nutrients from the soil up through their roots, almost like using a straw. But the real magic is that they actually use water, sunlight, and air to create their own food. Without it, they couldn't breathe or grow, and they just wilt away. Have you ever noticed how quickly a plant droops when it's thirsty?
What are you asking? I'm not understanding you.
No worries. I was just asking if you've ever seen a plant get all floppy and sad because it needs water.
Yes, it's very sad when it's need water, but people are very um, people are busy. Sometimes people
It
are
really
busy,
is.
so people didn't give water to them. So that's why plants are very sad. Okay, great question. So my next question is that how do plant
I'm ready.
so why do animals need water to survive?
It's the same story as with us, really. Animals need it for everything, regulating their body temperature, digesting their food, and keeping their joints moving smoothly. Whether it's a tiny ant or a huge elephant, their bodies just can't function without it. Do you think some animals have a harder time finding water than others?
Yes, some animals are like that also. Okay, great. So my next question is that what would happen if we never rain again?
That would be a total disaster. First,
Okay.
the lakes and rivers would eventually dry up. Then the plants would die, which means the animals that eat those plants would have nothing left. It would basically be a chain reaction that would empty the planet of almost everything. It's kind of wild how much we depend on something that just falls from the sky, right?
Okay, great. So my next question is that why is Earth known as the blue planet?
That's because of how much water covers the surface. About 70% of the planet is ocean, so when astronauts look down from space, the whole thing just looks like a glowing blue marble. It's a pretty stunning sight. Do you think the Earth would still be as beautiful if it were a different color? No need to apologize. I was just asking if you think the Earth would still look as beautiful if it were a different color instead of blue.
No, okay. I'm not listening you for a while. So ask your question again.
No worries at all. I was just wondering if you think the Earth would still look as beautiful if it were a different color instead of blue?
I think green color is also because green color is plant color. Okay, great. So my next question is that um approx-
Green would be a look. It would definitely feel more
approximately
like a
how much of Earth's surface is covered by water?
It's a huge amount. About 70% of the surface is covered by water. Most of that is the ocean, which is why it looks so blue from space. Does that number surprise you, or did you already know it was that much?
Okay, great. So my next question is that is all the water on earth safe to drink? Why or why not?
Definitely not. Most of it is salt water from the oceans, which would actually make you more dehydrated if you drink it. And then you have fresh water that might look clean, but is full of bacteria or pollutants. Only a tiny fraction of all the water on Earth is actually safe and easy for us to drink. Does that make you think about how precious the clean water we have really is?
Yes, it's very precious for us. Okay, great.
It really is.
So my next question is that why do scientists search for water on other planets?
Because water is basically the golden ticket for life. Since every form of life we know of needs water to exist, finding it on another planet is the biggest clue that we might not be alone in the universe. If there's water, there's a chance there's something living there too. It's like the ultimate treasure hunt. Do you think we'll actually find life on another planet one day?
Okay, great.
It's a wild thing to imagine. It's basically a shield for your health. When water is clean, it keeps your body running smoothly without introducing harmful germs or chemicals that can make you really sick. So, the difference between helping your body heal and accidentally giving it something to fight off. Do you think people in your city have easy access to clean water?
Yes.
That's great to hear. It makes a huge difference in daily life when you don't have to worry about that. Do you have more questions for your topic, or was that the last one?
No, I have more questions about this topic. Can you explain more about the topic? What are the origins of life and language?
That's where things get really fascinating because water actually connects both of those things. For the origins of life, most scientists believe it all started in the ocean. The billions of years ago, the water provided a warm, stable environment where simple chemicals could mix and eventually form the first living cells. It was basically the world's first laboratory. As for language, it's a bit different, but there's a theory that early humans might have used sounds that mimicked the nature around them, like the rushing of a river or the sound of rain, to communicate. Water is so central to our survival that it likely shaped how we describe the world around us. Does that
Okay.
help connect the dots, or were you thinking about the origins of a specific language?
Um, I think the origins of a specific language. So, okay, great. So, my next question is that what does the discovery of water on another planet suggest?
It's basically the smoking gun for alien life. Like I mentioned before, since water is the absolute requirement for life as we know it, finding it suggests that the planet has the right conditions to support something living. It doesn't guarantee there are aliens there, but it means the door is wide open. It's the difference between looking at a dry desert and looking at a garden. Do you think we'll find tiny microbes first or something more complex?
I think I find tiny, tiny swirls. So, okay, great. So, my next question is that what do we do at home to save water?
There are so many small things that actually make a huge difference. Turning off the tap while you brush your teeth is a big one, or taking shorter showers. Even using a bucket to water plants instead of a hose helps a lot. Do you have any specific tricks you use at home to save water?
No, I think not. Okay, great.
No worries.
So, my next question is that why should we avoid water wasting?
Because clean water is actually a limited resource. Even though the earth looks like a big blue marble, most of that is salt water. the fresh water we can actually use is a tiny fraction of the total. So when we waste it, we're using up something that's not easily replaced. If too many people waste it, it means there's less for others, for the animals, and for the plants we talked about. Do you think people in your neighborhood are mindful about wasting water, or is it something they don't really think about?
I think something really neat about. Okay, can you explain more about this topic?
I'd love to. Since we've talked about why we need it and how it works, we could dive into the cycle part, like how water travels from the ocean, turns into clouds, and falls as rain to start the whole process over again. Or if you're feeling more adventurous, we could talk about the weird ways water behaves, like how it's one of the only things that actually expands when it freezes into ice. Which one sounds more interesting to you?
Okay, great. So my next question is that what simple daily habits help me protect water sources?
Mm, it's all about those small, consistent changes. One of the best things you can do is be careful about what goes down the drain, like avoiding pouring oils or harsh chemicals into the sink, since those can pollute the water sources. Another simple habit is picking up trash when you see it near a river or a beach so it doesn't end up in the water.
Okay, great. So my next question is that how can schools encourage students to conserve water?
Schools are actually the perfect place for this because they have so many people in one spot. They could start by putting up fun reminders near the sinks or even having a competition between classes to see who can come up with the best water saving idea. Some schools even set up rainwater collection barrels for their gardens to show students how it works in real life. Do you think your school would be open to something like that?
I think so. Okay, great. So my next question is that what is the water cycle?
In its simplest form, water saving is just being mindful of how much water you use and making sure none of it goes to waste. It's like budgeting your money. You still spend it on the things you need, but you try not to throw it away on things that don't matter. Instead of letting the faucet run while you're scrubbing a dish, you fill the sink. It's all about protecting that limited supply of fresh water so there's enough for everyone and everything on the planet. Does that
Okay.
make sense? Or
Yes, it makes sense.
I'm glad it does. You've covered a lot of ground with this topic. Do you have any more questions or are you Oh, I didn't call you anything. I think there might have been a little glitch in the audio. No worries at all. Go ahead and get your charger. I'll be right here whenever you're back.
I'm sorry, there was a little glitch because of because I'm in school and people are just little shouting. So my next question is that how do um, how does water inspires different culture and languages? Explain more so I will understand more.
That's such a beautiful way to look at it. Think about how almost every culture has stories or myths about water. In many places, it's seen as a symbol of purity or a way to wash away the past and start over, like baptism in some religions, or the way people use water in rituals for cleansing. Even in language, we use water words to describe our feelings. When someone is calm, we say, they're still as a pond. Or if they're really excited, we say they're overflowing with joy. It's like water gives us a vocabulary.
Okay, great. So my next question is that if water could speak, what message do you think it will give to us?
That is a deep question. I think it would probably tell us to stop taking it for granted. It would probably say something like, I've been here since the beginning and I sustain everything you love, so please just treat me with a little more respect. It would be a reminder that, well, it seems infinite, it's actually very fragile. Do you think water would be angry with us or more like a disappointed parent?
I think it will disappoint it because water could not speak, and that's why it is only disappointed. Okay, great. So my next question is that can you share a proverb or saying about water? Explain more so I can understand more.
I've got a great one for you. There's a famous saying that goes, still waters run deep. On the surface, it sounds like it's just talking about a river that looks calm but is actually very deep. But it's really about people. It means that someone who is quiet or doesn't say much on the outside often has a very complex, intelligent, or emotional world going on inside. It's a reminder that you can't always tell how much is happening beneath the surface just by looking at the top. Does that remind you of anyone you know?
Yes, it will also remind me. Okay, great. So my next question is that how does language help us understand the importance of water?
That's a really thoughtful question. Language is like a mirror for what we value. When we use words like precious, essential, or life giving to describe water, those words act as a reminder to everyone who hears them that water isn't just a thing, but a treasure. Even the way we name different types of water, like crystal clear or pure, shows that we associate it with truth and health. By giving water these powerful descriptions, language transforms it from something we just use into
Okay.
something we respect. I'm ready when you are. What's on the next slide?
So my next question is that what emotions do words like rain, river, ocean creator?
That's a really poetic way to ask that. I think each one feels different. Rain feels like a fresh start, like the world is getting a chance to reset. Rivers feel like purpose and movement, always heading somewhere. And the ocean, that's pure awe. It's so vast, it makes everything else feel
Okay.
small.
Can you explain
Which one
little
of those
more?
feels the most like you to you?
Can you explain more?
I can definitely dive deeper into those. Think of rain as that feeling of you can't even get a little bit small. I'm not you can't even get a little bit smaller. When I said it makes everything feel small, I didn't mean you personally. I meant that when you stand in front of the entire ocean, the whole world feels huge and we feel like tiny parts of something much bigger. It's kind of a peaceful feeling, like being a small piece of a giant puzzle. Does that make more sense?
Yes, it makes sense. Okay, great. So my next question is that how can young people help protect water for future generations?
Young people actually have a huge role to play because they're the ones who will be inheriting the planet. The biggest thing is using their voice, whether it's starting a club at school, making a social media post to spread awareness, or just talking to their parents about saving water at home. They can influence the adults around them. When young people show they care, it often pushes the people in charge to make bigger changes, like fixing old city pipes or protecting local rivers. Do you think people your age in your school would be excited to start a project like that?
Yes, they will be
That's a
also
very sweet.
excited. Okay, great. So my next question is that how do rivers help people in the future? In the
Rivers are like the veins of the planet, and they're going to be even more important in the future. They'll be the main way we get water for our crops to feed everyone. And they're also a huge source of clean energy through hydropower, which helps us move away from things that pollute the air. Plus, as the world gets more crowded, rivers will be the places where people go to find peace in nature.
Okay, so it's enough for today. Thank you, Maya, for your cooperation. Thank you for joining me. Okay, Allah Hafiz.